a little while coming, but we've got our first top 10. I'm going to do the other top 10 probably tomorrow. But the top 10 best movies of 2021 in my humble opinion. Now, this is only my humble opinion. This is completely just all out of the movies I saw. I did not see every movie last year, so don't at me if you feel differently about the movies. I was like, why isn't this on your list? It's just one of those. It's just one of those things. So, with that being said, let's just get into it. At the number 10 spot, we have West Side Story, made by the legendary Steven Spielberg, considered to be one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, and he kind of proves it a little bit a lot of the time. But yeah, this is a film where I actually have never seen the original film, admittedly. I've never seen the original West Side Story. I know plenty about it. I know a lot of the songs. I knew plenty of these songs going into the movie when I heard them. But I've never actually watched it. And watching it, I'm like, I can see why this is considered one of the classic musicals. I really can. It's Romeo and Juliet, but it's a great retelling of the story of Romeo and Juliet. The music is fantastic. The acting was great. But unlike a lot of other people who are like, oh my God, this is one of the best movies of the year, I'm like, really? I mean, it's good, but at best, it makes it into my bottom of the top 10. It makes it only in the number 10 spot because while I did love and did enjoy it, there are plenty of other movies I just enjoyed more. And I'm not in love with it like other people because I'm like watching it like, this feels like it should have ended a while into the film. So I personally, I liked it, but I'm like, if the original was structured like this as well, I can't say I'm really loving it. But yeah, I mean, my problems with it are my just basically quibbles, really. The only real issue I had with it was the length of the film, and the fact that it felt like it dragged in the final half. So it's just me, but overall, it earned its spot in like the top 10 of the year for me. Coming in number 9, we have A Quiet Place Part 2. I love the original Quiet Place. I really do. I think I saw it twice, once by myself, once with my girlfriend. She loved it. This was like the perfect follow-up. It really was. It was tense. It was tense. It was scary, but it was heartfelt. You felt the emotion of this family and what they're trying to get through. There are choices that are made by characters where I'm like, oh, stop it. But with that said, it didn't hurt the film overall for me. I may have been going stop doing that. This is dumb. You're doing it for the right. You're doing something terrible, or you're doing something stupid for the right reasons. It's just you're being stupid about how you're going about it. And I mean that hindered it only a little bit overall. Despite the fact that I like everything else on the list here, this is just a film that I felt was just Krasinski is 2 out of 2. He's 2 out of 2. And I don't know anything else he's directed, if he has directed anything else, but he's 2 out of 2 right now, man. This was arguably as good, if not better, than the first one. So, look, Quiet Place Part 2, number 9. Coming in number 8, we got Cry Macho. Now, Cry Macho, for me, was very interesting. I grew up as a kid in the 90s, but I did watch a good portion of Clint Eastwood movies. And I've always been a Clint Eastwood fan, whether or not he's stuck his foot in his mouth as a person. Whatever you think of as a person, as an actor and a performer, I've always liked him. And a director, he's fantastic. So, to see this film, and it is based, I think, off a story, if I'm not mistaken, to see this film about 90-year-old Clint Eastwood, admittedly, that is a bit of a stretch that he is this 90-year-old former, rodeo star. I'm like, and he's still trying to be badass. And admittedly, he is Clint Eastwood. He still looks very imposing for a 90-year-old man. But with that said, it's a movie about, coming to the twilight of your time, knowing that, you don't have a lot of time left. So how are you going to spend the time you have left? And reflect on what you've done, where you've been. Try to impart something on someone before you go. And just trying to live out the rest of those days, to the best of your ability. And look, as a guy whose dad is on the older side as well, the movie struck a chord for me in that regard. Like, I looked at this and I kind of saw a bit of my dad in there a little bit, and maybe that's why it resonated with me so much. There's scenes in the movie that are just some of the best scenes I've seen all year in terms of just acting, or like, and just, seeing kind of a person's soul bared on film a little bit. So, I mean, look, it didn't strike the same chord with a lot of other people, but that's okay. Not everyone's going to. For me, Cry Macho was my number 8. Number 7, though, came down to The Suicide Squad. Now, do I think The Suicide Squad is a more in-depth, more character-rich, more emotional gut-wrencher, emotional tethering movie as, say, like Cry Macho, West Side Story, all that? No, I do not. But in terms of still good character art development, sheer entertainment, and what you're able to get away with an R rating while still being relatively in taste, I can't say enough good things about The Suicide Squad. I really can't. I saw it twice. It sucks it did not do well at the box office. That whole freaking HBO Max thing, I don't know how well it would have ultimately done, but it would have done far better, just like most of the films on the from Warner Bros. Had the HBO Max thing not happen. But look, The Suicide Squad, for me, is just one hell of a winner of a film. So coming in, though, at the number 6 spot, Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, though, is still a better movie to me. Even though the action has been phenomenal. The effects work is pretty good. It got a little cartoony at points, but pretty good. But it's the story. It's a story of someone coming to grips of who they are as a person. Where, are they a product of this? Or are they a product of that? And what does that make them ultimately? Confronting your past and to, try to have a future. And, that in your past, your father and you in reconciliation. Like, there is so much to love in this movie. It is mind-boggling. There's a reason it did so well. Partly because there was no competition throughout the entirety of its run, but or near entirety of its run, but also the fact that it was just a damn good movie. Just a damn good movie. So for me, it's number 6. But now in the top 5. Number 5. In the Heights. For me, the superior musical of the year. One of the things that I think put West Side Story in the back burner compared to this, for me anyways, the fact that in the West Side Story, for me, yes, it is basically Romeo and Juliet. It's also separated in time way too much. It is I think the 50s it's supposed to be. It's not relatable is the problem. Like, as beautiful as the storytelling is, as beautiful the characters are, or great as the characters are, it's not relatable. In the Heights, even someone who's a pasty white guy felt very relatable. They were just people trying to save their neighborhood, trying to, keep everything going and going strong. It was just people living their lives. There was no, when you're a jet, hey, together the jet shots are gonna rumble tonight. Like, but there was none of that. It was just community, family, trying to come together and trying to stay together. And, you get the one character, I believe he's Usnavi. U.S. Navy, Usnavi. Yeah, I remember that. And you get the main through character with that and what he's going through. But ultimately, it's just people trying to live their lives. And it is said through the background of a Latino community. So you do get a different perspective of that kind of life. And the music, honestly, while I already knew the West Side Story songs, I just found the music in West Side Story to be in the Heights to be better. I just liked that music more. There was a lot of energy, a lot of actual dance. That's the thing. I actually could dance to this movie. West Side Story, sure, there might be one or two you could dance to, and some of them are definitely dancing songs. There's the whole dance fighting, whatever. Oh God, but like every song, except for like the very heartfelt, emotional songs, rightfully so, was a banger. You could just dance straight to it. So for me, In the Heights, that's my number 5 movie. I loved In the Heights. Shame it didn't do well, but I loved it in the Heights. Number 4, The Green Knight. Now, right out of the gate, in my review, I said it, and I still stand by it. It is a bit of a slog. It does take its time, but it's a movie where I'm like, okay, you maybe could have done some more with this, but I understand the reasoning for the structure of the movie. It's about this character's journey to become the character person he's supposed to become, and it is just that's just the movie itself is a journey. It is just you are with this character from beginning to end. Excuse me. And where that end ultimately ends up. The Green Knight is a fascinating character we don't see a lot of, admittedly. But it's a fascinating character that I wish we did get more of in the film, but it's still really fun to watch and really intimidating yet mysterious. And the whole journey of Dave Patel's character, Garwin, it's just felt mythical. It felt not like an epic like Lawrence of Arabia or Lord of the Rings, but it felt epic in a different way. And for me, The Green Knight, like the acting is 100% top notch. The way it's shot visually, it's gorgeous to look at, despite the color palettes being not very good. It is still gorgeous to look at. So for me, Green Knight came in at the number 4 spot. Number 3, Dune. This was a near impossible task this guy had, and he pulled it off. He made Dune Part 1 into not just a comparable film that audiences could get behind, but a amazingly just epic sci-fi story. This is peak sci-fi. This is peak science fiction into high concept science fiction, world building, character building, the action sequences. Jason Momoa is a beast. He really is. Like Jason Momoa is awesome in the movie. The lore, the violence, the world itself, the effects work, and the thing that most of this was just, if not all, except for obviously some sets like indoors, was all on a green screen. This is just unbelievable what they were able to pull off, and the fact that it first off got greenlit for Part 2 pretty early on, but the fact it was able to actually make some money is more than impressive. It is amazing that even despite the HBO Max stuff, this thing was able to make money. So that's great for it. I'm sure WB, especially with Comcast, not Comcast. Who's buying them again? Time Warner, not Time Warner. That is Time Warner. Well, who is buying them again? AT&T? Is that who's buying them? AT&T? Either way. No, Discovery. That's who's buying. Discovery. I'm sure Discovery's going to be doing a lot more with them than, say, the last owners did, which I believe was AT&T. I think that's what it is. Anyway, so that's my number 3. I love Dune. Number 2, then. Our top 2. Silver medal goes to Encanto. My girlfriend loves it. She cannot. We don't talk about. You want to talk about songs that stick, that are earworms, that are bangers? Pressure on a drips, and it never stops. Whoa. And then, of course, we don't talk about. No. I'm waiting for a miracle. The music in this is so amazing. But that would be nothing if it didn't have a good story and characters to go with it. And these characters are so likable, so relatable. It's a story that has no villain. There is no. It's like in the Heights. Is just a family dealing with the struggles of the family, and everything that's coming along with that, and them trying to just be a better family. And there's something so pure and agreeable with that concept. There's something just so acceptable that this is just your movie. There's no bad guy. There doesn't need to be a bad guy. These characters are so human and likable. The story is so human and likable. It just happens to be wrapped up in a magical aspect. The character of Mirabelle is she's so wearing her heart on her sleeves and yet trying to not wreck the balance of things. It is tough sometimes to see her go through what she's going through, but that's the point, because it's ultimately rewarding where she ends up. The Bruno character, though, is my favorite character from that movie. Hands down. Absolutely. I loved Bruno. I love the music. I love what they're trying to go for in the story, what they're talking about, what they're basically addressing. It's just a fantastic, beautiful, heartfelt film. It really is. This is one of the best things to come out of Disney in a while. So, at least in terms of animated. So yeah, there's that. But my number one film of the year. Can you guess what it is? I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like, comment, share, subscribe. It's King Richard. Look, whether or not Will Smith wins the Oscar is up for debate, but there's no doubt in my mind that Will Smith needs to get an Oscar nomination for this film. I saw some people, not a lot, but some people say, a story about Venus and Serena Williams, it's focusing more on Richard Williams than anything else. But okay, the story isn't about Serena. The story is about Reggie Williams, and it's about Serena and Venus. It's called King Richard for a reason. It's about this guy who, admittedly, I think he did want something for himself too out of it, and he did get stuff out of it, but he just wanted something more than what he had for his daughters, and he would work his ass off to the bone, to his dying day, to make a dream, a goal, and a life, a realization for his children to come true. The sacrifices he made, the good and the bad that came with that. That's what this story is about. And you see a man who is not a perfect human being. He is not a saint. He is honestly kind of an ass. He's kind of a bastard at points. But there's no mistake that when you see the guy in this film, there's no mistake. He loves those kids more than life itself. He will do anything for those kids and anything to help them make their dreams come true. And, the performances of everyone in the film, the two girls, they got to play Venus or Serena. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, they showed an image of them or a video of them from when they were kids. I'm like, did they clone them or something? Those are like dead ringers for them. The woman, I can't remember the actress name, but the one playing his wife, I think she might get overlooked. Hopefully she doesn't, because she has to play opposite of him. And she is not only playing, and she's not just keeping up, she's acting around it sometimes. Like, she's on fire in this. And like I said, Will Smith. This is the one that, if he's going to win this next Oscar, because he is an Oscar winner. I think people forget that. I believe he won for Ali. If he's getting his next Oscar, this is going to be the next best. This is going to be the best movie chance he's going to have to get his next Oscar for probably the next 10 years. Because I think he's been trying to get another one for a while. With Concussion, with with Collateral Beauty, all that. And he's good in those films, but the movies themselves were just, This one, though, I have a feeling this one's going to stick. Whether or not he wins it, it's up for debate. But it's such a well-balanced film too. It's got a lot of heart. It's got some tense moments in it. It does have some tense moments in it, absolutely. It's got some nice humor though. But it's just a film where you watch it and you feel good about where you end up as a viewer, as a person by the end of the film. Like where it ultimately, because what ultimately happened to these people. So it's going to end up in a spot of positivity and good fortune and all that. And John Berthel. Got to mention John Berthel. He's fantastic. I love John Berthel in anything I see him in. I loved him in Ford v Ferrari. I loved him as the Punisher. Like, if I see him show up in films, I'm there for him. But ultimately, that is my top 10 films of the year. What were your top 10 films of the year? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm going to be uploading this I pre-recorded it on Wednesday. I'm going to be uploading it today, Thursday. I'll have Zanpakuto video up to later today as well. And I'm probably going to try to pre-record or do another Death Battle season review. And maybe the top 10 worst later today. But we'll see what happens. Because I'm not seeing a movie today. I'm going to see the 355 on Friday because me and my girlfriend are going to have like a date night tonight. And, we kind of want and need it. So until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And I'll see you folks next time. Have a good one.